Aloha one, aloha all. Michael, your friendly neighborhood philosopher, going to talk about frames of reference, which is another way of saying perspective or point of view. So, here we go. Basically, every human observer is processing information from their unique perspective. Their point of view is valid and justified. It doesn't mean that they know anything other than what they are observing to the point of resonance that makes sense to them, better than what you are observing. So, no two people are observing anything from the same point of view. Okay? So, we can be in a room, let's say. Let's say it's myself and one other person. We each have our own perception that we use to sort of harness the information. And we can think of that as a lens. Now, most people understand that the sense of sight is the primary means of reception. And what's interesting about that is we believe what we see to be true. So seeing is believing. And yet, what we see is only a very small slice of the entire electromagnetic spectrum, 0.0035% to be exact. Now, what does that mean in regards to the remaining 99.9965% of the rest of the array of energy that are oscillating at these various wavelengths of frequency? So, what do we do in order to receive the entire message? We use the rest of our senses. So, we have five. We have our sense of sight, our sense of sound, smell, taste, and touch. And all five come into play whenever we are interacting with these various streams of information. So energy is information. Everything is information. Everything. Information does one thing. It illuminates. It transforms the state of being of the recipient of that information into a point of resonance that simply makes sense. So when something makes sense, it's because it is resonating with the receiver of the information. So the receiver and the observer are one and the same. The observation and the observer are one and the same. So you are observing me, observing myself, speaking to you, receiving the information in two forms, light and sound. So you're seeing me through the digital medium or domain, if you will, of whatever device is being used to convert the information being transmitted digitally, and it's being recombined so that you can see and listen to what I'm saying. Now, you don't need to use your sense of smell, taste, or touch in order to understand what I'm saying, because it's irrelevant. Now, that doesn't mean that you cannot use your other feelings. So your extrasensory perceptual means of obtaining the entire message is being used currently. So you have three spiritual senses: space, motion, and time. So when you are paying attention to your present moment, and you're literally feeling everything, what becomes of the utmost importance is to just simply listen. So you can listen with your whole sense of being. So, in a way, when you just rely on, let's say, your sense of sight to ascertain the value of the overall information, what happens is you're missing out on the entire message. You're only partially accurate. Now, if you view a painting, for example, or let's say my shirt, and it resonates with you, do you have to use your sense of sound, smell, taste, or touch in order to appreciate it? No. What you are doing, however, most of the time without even realizing it, is you are using your sense of space, motion, and time, as well as your sense of sight. So there are interplays of these communications that occur. And whenever you adjust your perceptual lens, you're harnessing the relevant information to the points of resonance that, like I said before, make sense to you. When something makes sense to you, it's because it is resonating with you. So, light being sound. There are basically two forms of communication: light and sound. Everything else are derivatives of those. And we can think about it in terms of, again, the frame of reference is what determines your ability to authenticate the reality that you are experiencing. If you view reality from a standpoint of, let's say, dissonance or something that is not harmonious, you're basically resisting the information. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to like everything. It just means that you're saying no thank you to that energy. So if you know that God is the source of everything and God speaks to us through our feelings, then what we can do is listen and learn. And if we remember that our perspective is unique, and when I say unique, there is no other perspective like yours. Now, we can have a conversation and we can resonate and say, yes, I agree. I like what you're saying, Michael. I understand it. It makes sense. And yet, we're each uniquely connected to God. God speaks to us all the time. All we have to do is listen. Now, if your perception of God is different than mine, which is always going to be the case, even if we, let's say, practice the same philosophy or faith or religion, what happens is we're simply connecting the dots. We're finding the resonance of connections through these conversations. Every conversation requires the participants to exchange the information. Now, sometimes we exchange information in a manner that is civil, and sometimes we do it in a way that is disrespectful. You'll find that you will be far happier having conversations that are respectful, and civil discourse is the way of being effective and efficient communicators. So, just remember, your point of view matters because it's real to you. If something is real to you, then you will be able to maintain your frequencies of energy that have everything to do with your belief system. Your belief system is what allows you to sort of flow through these experiences smoothly. If you, let's say, believe in something that inspires you, then you're going to have the energy to proceed with the experience in a manner in which is going to be enjoyable. If you resist the information because you are predetermining its value as being non-essential, or you say that it has no value and you just straight up ignore it, then that is going to weigh heavily on you and you're going to feel it. And that's okay. These things, these moments, these events happen. I can honestly say that I would not change a single moment in my life. Now, does that mean I like every single thing that has occurred in my imagination? No. What it does mean is that I understand that it was necessary for me to grow and learn and become who and what I am right now. So, with that being said, I'm going to say thank you for paying attention. This is one of the longer videos that I've done in quite a while. I usually keep these videos to about 3 to 5 minutes or so. I love you guys. I always appreciate your very kind attention. And just know that I love you and I appreciate any time that we spend together. All right. I love you guys.